Stephen, let me give you a little more detail on this here. Let's see. I just started a new tab here. Actually, I thought I had done so. Yes, here we go. Sheet one. Let's see. Using the Excel scatter chart feature. So we want months employed on the horizontal axis and age on the vertical axis. So I'm going to go back and get this data here. Let me just remind myself what's here. Let's see. Months employed. So we get months employed. Do this in two steps. So I'm just going to copy this, and let's see. I think I was on sheet one here. So here is months employed, and then let me go back and get age. Copy, let's see, copy that. And then, let's see, sheet one. Where'd you go? There you go. Let's see. And just a quick point here, because I want months employed on the horizontal axis and age on the vertical axis, as you put these in this sheet, make sure that months employed is on the left and age is on the right. So at this point, I'm just going to highlight the data. Highlight all the data. And then if I just go up to insert, and here in the middle palette here, you've got all kinds of great charts. And this chart right here, just put your cursor over it. Insert scatter X, Y, or bubble chart. And then you just want a scatter plot. So here is your scatter plot. And you can kind of increase the size here because it's going to ask you about outliers. And we'll talk about that in a second. The other thing that let's see, the other thing that we want you to do here is find the correlation coefficient. Actually, let me go down and cut this, and that way I can have it at the top of the page. And so there's our scatter plot. So let's see, I think we want the correlation coefficient and then potential outliers. So I think the way that I explained it in the video that's in the instructional tools area is if you type in, or if you use the built-in function CORREL, which will give you the correlation coefficient. All you have to do is input the data as the arrays. So months employed first, and then let's see, you separate that with a comma. Separate that with a comma, and then you put in age. And then if you hit enter, let's see, it looks like it's about roughly 0.31. Let me just increase that size a little bit. So the question is, what is that telling you? And remember, as you go through the reading, if you've ever had a course in statistics, the correlation coefficient is a value that ranges between -1 and +1. And what it's doing is it's measuring the linear strength of the relationship between the variable plotted on the, or the coefficient, or I should say, the component of the x variable and the component of the y variable. And so in this case, the fact that it is positive, it would say generally that as the number of months that an employee is employed, the age increases. Now, the fact that it's about 0.31, it's not a real strong relationship, but it's not a real weak relationship. And again, remember the lower bound here on the correlation coefficient, -1. If it's -1, just let me hit this real quick. If it's -1, it would say that as the x variable increases, the y value is decreasing. So it would be a line that looks like this. And if you think back to your algebra days, the slope is negative. And the fact that if it wasn't in fact -1, it would mean all the points lie on the same line. Conversely, if it was +1, it would just be the opposite. It would just say that as x is increasing, y is increasing, and it would be a line that would rise from left to right. And again, if it was +1, all the points would be on the same line. So you think about, well, what does it mean if the correlation coefficient is 0? Well, that means you'd have something that is truly just a scatter with no form or strength, positive or negative. And so once again, at about 0.31, it's not weak, but it's not strong. But generally, we can say the longer a person is employed, the older they are. Let's see. So that gets you the scatter plot, the correlation. Then it says outliers. I'm going to do one other thing here, and I don't think I did this in that other video, but let me just show you something else real quick. If I put my cursor on one of these points and I right click, I can add a trend line. And what is this trend line? Let me just get it on here. A linear trend line, and let's see, it's already there. So we talk about this this line of best fit. And again, if we were trying to simply portray this data with a line versus the scatter plot, this is what the line would look like. And if you think about the correlation coefficient in the context of this line, well, that's effectively this slope that you see here is related to correlation. And so when we talk about outliers, and I'm only asking for a visual guess on this here, it would mean is there a few points that are really, really, really way off the line as compared to the others? So you've got a pretty good cluster, I would say, right in this general area right here. So below the line of best fit, you could say, well, maybe I'm a little concerned about these two down here, but I would say above the line, I would say maybe right in here that you might be interested in looking at those a little bit more. And just because they're outliers, it doesn't mean that they are that they should be excluded from the data. It's effectively a kind of a signal to us that we perhaps should understand these points here, and it could be for any reason. It could be, maybe it's a data entry. It could be something as simple as that. But again, if you think back to your basic course in statistics, if you were trying to explain to somebody what statistics is all about in one word, it would really be about variation. And this is exactly what we're seeing here. Is we're seeing variation from what is, statistically speaking, the line of best fit. So that may be a little more than you wanted here, but just to kind of go along with the spirit here of bivariate correlation and how you would use Excel to at least get after what we're looking for here. So I hope that's helpful. If I can do anything else for you, let me know. Take care and have a great day.